You gotta keep on breathing if you wanna make sense of it all. Dad, we are going to sit on our block to start off with. Now, if you like, if you have two blocks, you can put two blocks together and it makes you a bigger seat, or like that, whichever. So sit on your block. That lifts the hips up just a little bit. And I would say sit on your bolster, Ali. Yeah. So you can sit cross-legged or butterfly, whichever you like. And just come to the edge of the blocks. So really the cheeks are kind of perching so that you can relax into the hips and soften through the knees. Good, nice. Let's take a mudra, which is Ajahn mudra. So just the thumb and index finger placed together. And bring those down into the lap. So the fingers rest on one another and the hands are just down in front of the lap. So the wrists are just nestling themselves into the hips. Relax into the wrists, elbows, shoulders. Soften through the face. Soften through the teeth and the jaw. And just allow yourself time to become present onto your mat and into your space today. And allow a steady breath to start becoming a little bit more rhythmic as you focus gently on the inhale and the exhale becoming equal. So finding that sama vritti breath, equal breath. And the practice theme today is to play at your edge and know your limits. And the edge is where fear meets courage, where challenge meets curiosity, desire meets will, and intensity meets softness. And during yin postures, we talk about, that edge being the target area. And this first point of challenge is not seen as extreme. It's not the end range of your motion, but a place that feels comfortable, easy to hold. And then we work from there. So we always allow gravity to take us deeper into a posture, or using our props to take us deeper into a posture. And again, working to intensify, but not to a place of pain. And pain is an indicator to back off to a milder edge rather than to override the sensation. And those feelings of discomfort and pain can include agitation or anxiety or, feeling overwhelmed and experiencing sensations like numbness or tingling in postures. So always being aware of that when we're holding for a number of minutes. And you might feel it in toes, fingers. And as the pose develops, we might find that this edge moves for us and we can adjust our body to go a little deeper when we feel ready. So throughout the practice today, be aware of your edge and how far you can push your limits. So playing your edge and knowing your limits. focus on any intention that you wish to bring into your practice today. And nice and slowly, keep the mudra, but open the arms out to shoulder height. So you're reaching the fingertips away, and you've got that little circle of the thumb and the index finger connecting. Stretch into the back of the arms, stretch into the wrists, reach the fingers away just a little bit. You might even be feeling an edge here. Stretch, stretch, stretch across the chest. Lift tall into the spine. And then we're going to bend at the elbow, keeping the arms where they are, bringing them into cactus. That's it. Nice. Good. And then we're going to gently push the chest forward and pull the shoulder blades together. So you're going to push the elbows back and push forward with the chest. So the shoulder blades pull together in the center of the spine, and then slowly you're going to round the spine and then bring those elbows in towards the center of the face. Try and squeeze the elbows in together. You've still got that mudra being held, and then we open it out back into cactus. Good. Let's do those twice more. So we push the elbows back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. That's it. Open across the chest. And then exhale, round the spine, broaden across the shoulder blades, and the elbows meet, hopefully, somewhere in front of the face. Keep the shoulder blades pulling down here. Last time, open it out to cactus, and then pull the shoulder blades back. Nice, good. And then exhale, round the shoulder blades, pulling them apart across the back, keeping those elbows nice and lifted. They're not dropping too much. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then relax the mudra and relax the arms down. Give the arms a little shake and a circle through the shoulders. Already started to find our edge. Let's come to tabletop. So again, you can choose to use your blocks or without, but I'm going to use the blocks underneath the palms here. So spread the hands so that, see if the little finger curls over one side and the thumb curls over on the inside. The middle finger faces forward. And then dropping through your cat and cow here, notice how the extra height has changed everything. So we inhale for your cow and we exhale to round for cat. And just flowing with the spinal movement, checking in, seeing how the spine feels. Try to keep the hips where they are and it's just the spine that's moving. Nice. And once we've done a few rounds of those, we can reach back into child's pose, keeping the hands on the blocks here. So reach the hips back, and then maybe the blocks slide forward as you bring your head down between the biceps. Now, because we've used 2 blocks here for the hands, you don't have an extra block for the head. So if you need to, just go into child's pose and take away the blocks underneath the hands to use underneath the head. Lift up and lengthen. Get the belly a little bit more free of the thighs. Exhale. Maybe those blocks slide forward a centimeter. And then just soften here. Soften through the chest. Soften through the shoulders. This is our first posture. You want to start to find that edge, knowing your limits, knowing your end range of motion here. Again, lifting up, lengthening, creating a bit more space. And exhale, maybe the blocks creep a little further away from you. Keep pulling hips back to heels. Breathe deep into all of the spine. And then nice and slowly, we're going to bring ourselves all the way back up into tabletop position, rounding into cat, nice and high, pull belly in towards the spine, and then just gently release, coming off the hands, coming off the blocks, just go back to kneeling. So just take a moment there to feel what happened actually in that posture when you've added that extra bit of height. So just work through the chest and the shoulders and then swing the legs out in front of you. Let's come into a seated forward fold from here. So we're going to, again, take the blocks, and you can place the blocks in between the knees, if you like, and you can start creating a little Jenga pile of height. So you might feel that that's high enough, so you can rest your head down on the blocks, or you might take it a nice little T like that. That's it. Perfect. And again, making modifications for yourself with what props you have available to you. And it's not always necessary that we need to support the head in a seated forward fold or a caterpillar pose. It's actually quite nice. Now, if you've got soft foam blocks, that's a little bit more comfortable on the forehead than cork. So start to relax and release into the head and the neck, softening through the shoulders. We're rounding through the shoulders and the spine, pulling belly gently back. And softening through the back of the legs. And if this feels incredibly tight for the back of the legs, taking a bend into the knees is always an option. And maybe as each minute passes, you feel that you can change the height of the blocks. So the blocks have 3 heights, remember. So I've just taken mine down to the lowest level. And of course, with yin postures, as we hold for a number of minutes, our mind wants to think about other things, but try to stay present with the sensations that come up for you, the messages that the body shares with the mind. What's it telling you about sitting here in this fold? Take a deep breath in, lift the head, breathe out, and then slowly keep the chin in towards the chest as you gently roll up through the spine, bringing the shoulders back in line with the hips, sitting upright. And then the gaze is the last thing to rise up. Sit nice and tall. Then let's come down onto our back. So have the blocks by the side of you. Shuffle yourself along the mat just a little bit if you need to. And then gently come down on your back and draw the knees in towards the chest. So soften out through the spine here after that forward fold. If you need to, start to work out through the hips a little bit. You can circle the hips out. This might feel a nice release after your day, just to be down on your back. So we're going to take a supported bridge here with your block, or what alternative you have, whether it's a bolster or a thick book. And again, those blocks have 3 different levels. So if you don't want to go to the highest level, I wouldn't recommend that for a yin posture, but lowest or the medium level. I'm going to go medium level, and it goes underneath, so horizontally underneath the base of your spine and sacrum. Buttocks hang off of the end. And if you've got a ponytail in, make sure that the ponytail isn't digging into the back of the head and preventing the neck from being long. So make sure the ponytail's all the way down underneath the nape of the neck. Now here in this posture, you can keep the hands down by the hips, soles of the feet just resting down on the mat, or you might like to take them back into that cactus, but spread the shoulder blades. So pull the shoulder blades apart from one another, and the backs of the hands come down with a bend at the elbow. Give all of your weight into that prop. Really feel that the heaviest part of the body, which is the buttocks, the hips, the pelvis, becomes heavier and heavier with each breath. And you really relax out through the legs and the torso. And with any reclined posture, like bridge, shoulder stand, or plow, trying to keep the neck straight rather than turning the head to look at the screen. Listen to the cues and keep the gaze up towards the sky. It can actually be quite damaging to the neck to have this weight into the neck and then turn the head. Maintaining that nice Samavriti, easy breath, inhaling and exhaling of equal length. Deepening each breath in, slowing the breath out. Continuing to let go of tightness and tension. Take a breath in and a breath out. Prepare to come out of the posture as you bring the hands back to the side of the body. If they were in that cactus, palms are face down. You might like to bring the feet in just a little bit so that you can push up the hips and then take away that block to the side. Gently roll down, super slowly. Don't just simply collapse and bring the lower part of the body down. Try and do each and every vertebra one at a time. And then as you come down, come into constructive rest. So the feet go wide and the knees drop in towards one another. And you just relax into the hips and soften out the bowl of the pelvis underneath you. That area where you've just had that hard block supporting you. Open the arms out to the side of you. Spread the shoulder blades, just as we did when we were seated. And then open the knees. Keep the feet nice and wide. And then just roll over the knees one side. Breathe in. Breathe out. Take them to the other. Do that a few times. Breath into center. Breath out to release. Breath in, center, breath out, release. And then the next time, if you want to just roll over to one side and gently press yourself up. Take time to come up because we've been in a slight inversion because the head is a little bit higher, lower than the heart is what I want to say. Right, we're going to come into a Malasana squat from here. So again, using your block or your bolster. So taking your feet nice and wide and just sitting on your block or bolster. That's it. And try and sit back nice and tall and make sure that you're not going to fall off. That block is nice and stable underneath you. So really it's about perching the sit bones and the cheeks. Oh, almost fell off myself. Bring the elbows in towards the knees and then lengthen the spine from there. So we're not rounding through the spine in this kyphosis, we are lengthening. Imagining that we've got this pole coming all the way down through the crown of the head, right down through the spine, and then exiting out of the tailbone. So we're widening out the knees if we can, lengthening the spine. We should be feeling that somewhere in the inner groin, maybe the inner thighs are nice. And we might just gently press the chest forward towards the mat. So again, it's always about playing your edge and knowing your limits. Making sure that the navel gently pulls back to the spine and the shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. Yeah, that's it. Close the eyes if you can. Focus only on sensations. Don't let your mind get pulled or distracted to other thoughts. Releasing, relaxing, tightness, tension. See if you can make the posture a little bit more active, pressing those palms together. There's action through the wrists, action across the chest. There is definitely an edge to a squat. Doing great. And then we release the hands down. We start to lift up the buttocks away from the block. And you're going to reach back, bring the block through, and hopefully the other block is somewhere nearby. And we come into a dangle. So the feet can be nice and wide here, at wide of the mat. And again, we're playing that Jenga. So making, a tower for the head to rest on. And you can also use the bolster on its end. So the bolster stands up and then you rest the head down onto the bolster. So again, bending into knees or having straight legs, but resting the head down onto the blocks. And you know how high those blocks need to be. And you might test it out and see that, I can go a little bit lower. So it is really a dangle, and really give in to all of the body weight, the upper body weight. Soften through the toes, the ankles, the knees, the back of the legs. Soften through the spine, the hips. Deep breaths, letting go. Again, maybe here you play with your edge just a little bit, and it might be, your edge might be in the spine, your edge might be in the back of the legs. If you've got particularly tight hamstrings, this could be an intense challenge for you. So knowing where your full range of motion is, and letting time progress and develop the posture for you. Slow and steady breaths. Hands released to the mat. You're going to place the fingertips down, bend into the knees, take the head away, and just come into a little bit of a half lift. So you lengthen the spine, lengthen crown of the head, pull shoulders back, drop the buttocks just a little bit, and then you can release the knees down to the mat. Ooh, well done. Take time, as that again is an inversion. So just take time to bring the head back up to center. Good. Now we're going to use the blocks or the bolsters for our lizard. So sliding the blocks forward and your right leg comes through. And just finding what works again for you for this lizard. If you're on a hard surface, pad out the back knee. And use the blocks on any of their heights, whether it's the highest level, medium level, or the lowest. Again, we want to play our edge. Don't go to our deepest place. First of all, progress and develop the posture in time. Maybe coming down onto the forearms if the posture allows you to. And again, those blocks, you can place them together. That's quite nice, just as you had them when you were seated. And if you're using a bolster here instead, it just keeps you propped up, dropping through the hips, letting the heaviest part of the body sink towards the earth. trying to soften out tension anywhere else that you might be holding in the body. Maybe that's in the hands, the wrists, or the shoulders. So really allow that, you can give in to the posture in the lower body as well as the upper. We are here for another couple of minutes. So really trying to, again, play your edge, know your limits, not taking you into a place of anxiety or overwhelm or a place of discomfort or pain. We want to feel challenged, but we don't want to be anxious about it. We are almost there. Starting to come out of the posture. If you went down onto the forearms, bringing yourself back slowly onto the fingertips or the palms, and then gently and slowly pulling the hip back. Release out through the front leg just a little bit in your half splits. That's just your recovery. How's that feel? And let's sweep that leg all the way back around and just circle out the hips there. So let's go left side. Again, trying to find balance. So left might be very, very different to the right, and you might need to heighten the blocks up a little bit. If you went down on the forearms in the right side, you might not be able to go down on the forearms at the lowest block level on the other side. So again, allowing the gravity to take you there, not forcing it. Remember, we've got 3 minutes here. Both hips are nice and stable. The right hip isn't dropping any more than the left. So if you feel that your right hip is dropping deeper, lift up the right and try and drop down the left. So the pelvis is nice and stable to the mat. So again, taking tension out of the upper body. Breathe deep. That Samavriti breath helps and guides you. If the breath feels shortened or you're not breathing out deeply enough, you might have gone too far. We want to be comfortable and relaxed. And with Yin, we want to try and find stillness, holding the pose, not fidgeting or moving too much. It's very easy to do that when we've gone too far. So again, pulling back, minimizing the intensity and challenge. Really giving in on those exhales, softening, deeper letting go. Don't worry, we are almost at the end of those 3 minutes. I'm not just guessing, I do have a clock. And taking that breath in, that breath out, preparing to come out. If you took the forearm option, come back up onto the hands and slowly pull the hip back. That's an instant relief as you release over the left leg. And just allow that response, that body to say, okay, we've come out of dragon, thanks very much. And then sweep that left leg back around and circle out the hips. Good. We are going to come off of the knees. We're going to come back down onto our backs. So have those blocks both sides of the mat, one on one side, one on the other. Swing the legs around and come down and draw the knees in. Roll and massage out through the spine and just release into the hips here. And this is our reclined twist with a block. So we're going to use the block in between the thighs, or in between the knees, really. And we're going to lift the hips up and shift them over to the left side of the mat so that when we drop the knees over, our spine is hopefully in a nice little comfortable place. So make sure that the corners of your block aren't digging into the thighs, and then open the chest out to the sky, and the arms might come out to the side as well. Now, if you feel that that's still too intense, the other block might just rest under the knee, but it might dig in a bit. But yeah, you could do that. Try and keep the knees stacked on top of one another and the feet stacked on top of one another. And then that might allow the left chest to open out. And then eventually you might be able to take away that underneath block. So give in to the top leg. We're not squeezing that block. We're just simply holding it there. Intensifying this reclined twist, you might lift the head and turn the chin and turn the gaze to look towards your left hand. So really trying to soften out through the underneath hip and buttock just as much as the top leg. You might feel it in the glutes, you might feel it in the outer thigh, you might feel it in the lower back, you might feel it in the side of the body. Again, everybody's body feels postures differently when you hold them. So being aware of where the sensations are coming for you. Take a breath in and a deep breath out. Bring the head back to center if you chose that option. And then just take the hand down to take the block away. And then bring the knees back through into center. Realign the hips back into center. And take that constructive rest once more. So feet go wide, toes turn in, and knees drop in towards one another. Heel toe back into the parallel. Draw the knees in, roll and massage out. Circle the knees around one way. Maybe you like to, again, open out those knees and release into the hip joints. Place the soles of the feet down. Take your block, place it between the thighs and towards the knees. And then lift the hips, take it over to the right, and then drop the knees over to the left. So that's it. Open out the arms if you like, opening up the chest to the sky. Again, if you need to, using your other block, blanket underneath the knee to lift those up if you need to. And again, making sure that the block isn't digging in anywhere, the corners aren't digging in. Choosing options to look towards your right hand. As we take this twist to the second side, just noticing any differences, noticing any imbalances that you can work with to again play your edge, but also know your limits. Finding intensity with softness, challenge with release. And of course, comfort. And taking that breath in and that slow breath out, preparing to come out of the posture, bringing the head back into center first, taking the hand down, taking the block away, relaxing into those legs, and then gently using the abdominals, bringing the legs back in through center, realigning the spine, and taking the feet wide. Drop the knees together. Exhale into constructive rest. And then heel toe feet into parallel, draw knees in, roll and massage out through the spine. Circle knees one way and the other. Open out into the hips if you wish. So rolling over onto your side. And again, slowly pressing yourself back up to seated. Okay, we're going to take a melting heart, which is similar to the child's pose that we did. So if you have those 2 blocks or your bolster or a pillow, then your hips stay nice and high above the knees and the hands reach forward. And you can rest the wrists and the forearms on your blocks and just find what works wherever it needs to be. So it's a little bit deeper than that child's pose. And again, if you need to prop up the head with a blanket. So we're trying to let the chest melt. It's called melting heart for a reason. It just softens. Try and relax through the tension of the shoulders and the chest here. Really giving in to gravity. Slow and steady breaths. Notice if you've taken tension into the toes, the ankles, the shins. We're not here for long, but we are here long enough to make it count. Imagine something heavy in the center of your spine, between the shoulder blades, like a sandbag. And then to come out of the posture, you might just bring back one hand to the head and the other to the head and press yourself back through child's pose to bring the hands back to the heels, softening the chest over the thighs. And you can turn onto the cheek here to take the pressure off the forehead. So we're going to gently bring the hands forward. Take your time to roll up through the spine. Come to kneeling. And then our last seated posture before we come back down onto the mat is our lateral butterfly. So again, using the block or a bolster or a pillow, whatever you've got. So left leg or right leg extends, whichever one you've just gone for, that's okay. So we're going to use that block either on the inside or the outside of that leg. The outside is going to be a little bit harder. So the inside, I'd recommend. And again, you've got the block that can be on 3 different heights. So maybe it's on that height. You're going to bring the forearm down. We're just going to lift up that top arm if it feels comfortable to do so, placing the elbow over the top of the head. So it's a lateral butterfly stretch. That's it. Yeah. So we're not holding that arm up. We're letting it rest on the head. So you can, yeah, that's it. So you can just give in to that. And if it becomes too much, let the arm go and just work with the lateral stretch. Yeah. Because there's a lot in this pose, particularly side body stretch, hip stretch. We're keeping the spine long and lifted as well. We're not collapsing into those vertebrae. Keep length in the underside rather than sinking down into it. That's it. Gaze might look underneath the elbow, rolling the rib cage open a little deeper. Again, play your edge with this one. This is really a side body lateral flexion here. Just one more minute. Doing great. Nearly there. Release the hand first and then gently flip the palm over and use that hand to push you up. Woo! Feel what that's like in the side body when you come out. Change legs, but before we just go into that posture, I want to just do a little bit of a wide-legged forward fold just for 1 or 2 minutes. So again, making that little Jenga pile or using your bolster to support your head. The bolster can be on its end. Bringing the head down, just releasing through the spine there, tucking navel in. Hands relax down in front of you, head softens. So throughout the practice today, we've introduced lateral flexions, which are your side bends, forward folds, introduce twists. We're going to come into some back bends when we come back down onto the mat. And just gently roll up through the spine. Taking that block on the inside or the outside. And then releasing the arm down, palms face up. Roll the rib cage open. And if you've got that hand spare just for a moment, just kind of encourage and guide the rib cage open. So we're not collapsing forward. Here we are opening. And again, the arm is an option because it does intensify the stretch because you're adding extra weight into it. Remaining focused, just breathing into the side body as much as you can here. Imagine it's like that accordion, opening out with the breath and closing in, softening on the exhale, deepening the posture with gravity. Exhaling just a little bit more. And then inhale, release the hand and use the palm underneath you to push yourself back up. Good. Let's come down onto our backs. I have one block by the side of you. That's all we're going to need for the last posture. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Just gently roll and massage out through the spine, all the way through from the lower lumbar up into the middle, up into the shoulders, and maybe just release into the head and the neck there just by rolling on the back of the skull. So our last posture is a back bend, but it's a passive back bend, which is your pontoon. So that's from your supported bridge. So again, lowest level or medium level. Placing it back underneath the sacrum. And again, you can use a pillow or a bolster for this one. That's extra comfort. And once you've found your position for the supported bridge, the legs then extend all the way along the mat. And the arms might come up back above the head. So the backs of the hands down, feet are relaxed. And again, we really want to give in across the top of the pelvis, across the top of the hips. The heaviest part of the body is being held and supported in a passive back bend. So if you're really struggling with this one, just place the soles of the feet down. You don't have to extend the legs. You can come back into that supported bridge if that feels much better for you. Try not to fight with the posture if it's not really working. Bringing the right leg back. Bringing the left leg back. Find the supported bridge first of all. The hands come back by the side of the body. Soften again into the belly, the hips, and into the spine. Pressing into the feet, take the block or the bolster away. And again, roll down through the upper body. So the upper back, keeping the hips nice and high. Take time. Each and every vertebra rolls down. We're going to extend the legs all the way into a moment of Shavasana. Notice how it feels when you don't have anything underneath the back. Maybe it's, the block was too hard for you. You switch to the bolster, you switch to a pillow. That's okay. But just feel now that there's nothing there and really give in to that lower back, softening, releasing. Draw the right knee in towards the chest. Give it a squeeze. Extend the right leg. Draw the left knee in towards the chest. Give it a squeeze. And then bring the right to join it. And roll and massage out through the spine. Let's go into our final relaxation, Shavasana, from here. So maybe this is an opportunity for you to use your blocks underneath the knees. Again, making sure that they're not digging in. So if the corners dig in anywhere, or you can, of course, use your bolster. Go for the nice, comfy option. And using blankets, eye pillows to make yourself warm. Coming into final relaxation with the arms out to the side of you, spreading the shoulder blades underneath. So what I mean is lift the spine up, pull the center of the body down, and then spread the shoulder blades nice and wide. And that then you can extend the arms out to the sides of your body without touching anything by the sides of you. So as you soften back in to a full corpse pose, a full relaxation here, just notice what may have come up for you in the practice through some of those postures. And certainly there may have been challenge. There may have been intensity working towards your edge, working towards your limit, the limit of your range of motion. I'll let you know when it's time to come back around, but for now, stay focused and present. Taking a few deeper breaths as you bring your awareness back into your surroundings, back onto the mat, and back into the body. Wiggling fingers, moving toes. Always taking your time to awaken. Choosing to stretch the arms above the head, stretching the legs away, and then gently drawing those knees in towards the chest and just rolling out for the last time in practice today. And rolling over to one side as you bring yourself up to a comfortable seat, and you can return to sit on your blocks if you wish, bringing the hands into Anjali Mudra. Our theme was playing your edge, knowing your limits, of course, but finding also an intention from that is to take that out off the mat into your daily life. And always keeping your best interests at heart, be they physical or mental, is always more soulful than not. And what side of comfort and ease do you want to reside on in your life? So again, working towards challenge, intensity, but not ever pain, anxiety, or overwhelm. Always thanking yourself, your body, your breath for your practice today, and I thank you. Namaste.